What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/NuclearRevenge. Alright, this story's called, I forced my Jekyll and Hyde neighbor to move out, but I didn't stop there. Seems this is too rough for pro-revenge. So I'll try the nuclear option. How we got two of our evil neighbors evicted. Buckle up, this is a rather long story. We, wife and I, live in a townhouse complex. For anyone outside of my country, it's like a row of houses in a gated community. Our complex has 3 rows with 6 houses and 1 row with 5. Need room for that community pool. 2 evil neighbors in question lived across from us. The one right across from us, Unit 10, and the one to their right, Unit 11. Not real numbers for obvious reasons. What you need to know is the driveway separating each of the rows. It's wide enough to fit 2 cars okay-ish. If both cars are traveling slowly, they can pass each other with ease. When they first move in, we got along okay with them. I even played games with their kids, 3 each per unit, when walking past my house from the car park. I thought they were good families, as when the kids did something like kick balls at our wall and not stop, I would tell the parents and the kids would get punished. I explain this cause in just one day, they went from a nice family to assaulting my wife. We came home from an event, I think the movies one night. Another neighbor of ours made it to the driveway before us, so he was first. The people in number 10, whom I will now refer to as Psycho Bimbo and Booty Hole Husband, had their family van parked out in front of their house, across from my house. Kids were getting in and out of the van while Psycho Bimbo was keeping an eye on things. Our other neighbor, who lives on our side of the complex, right next to us, moved his car slowly past Psycho Bimbo and the van first. We will call him Nice Neighbor for now. When Nice Neighbor slowly moved past the van, there was no problem at all. My wife was right behind Nice Neighbor and did the exact same thing. Slowly moved her car past in full view of Psycho Bimbo. The strange thing is that nothing happened. My wife made it past without even a glare. I got out and opened the garage door for her to park the car. We reversed the car into our garage, and I was about to shut the rolling door when Psycho Bimbo comes screaming over and yelling, accusing us of trying to run over her kids. She barged into our garage right past me and banged on the driver's side window to the point my wife had to roll the window down or Psycho Bimbo would have broken it. She started pointing a finger and yelling about how dare my wife try and run over her kids. I want to point out that from the time my wife passed the van till the time Psycho Bimbo came raging over was 2 minutes. Why didn't she blame Nice Neighbor? And why didn't she say anything as my wife moved the car past the van? It's like the worst delayed reaction in history, and to this day, we still don't know the real reason they had it out for my wife and I. If the real reason was running over the kids, Psycho Bimbo would have been in Nice Neighbor's face, or in my wife's face while she moved the car past the van. My wife felt cornered and scared, and I was about to drag Psycho Bimbo out of our garage when Booty Hole Husband came storming over and threatened me not to touch his wife. So I had to leave my wife cornered and defenseless as to hold off Booty Hole Husband in the driveway. After a few minutes of screaming at my wife, Psycho Bimbo went too far. She slapped my wife across the face, and her sharp nails left multiple scratch marks and bleeding. That was the last straw for me as my adrenaline kicked in. I'm not a violent person. I like to think I'm normally smart by having a policy policy of the best defense is to not get into a fight in the first place. I stormed over to Psycho Bimbo, but Booty Hole Husband grabbed my shoulder from behind and demanded to know where I was going. I turned around and gutted the idiot in the stomach with a right hook, then ignored him as he went down. I grabbed Psycho Bimbo from behind as she was still wailing on my wife and threw her to the ground outside of our garage. I told them to rack off, polite way I said it, and leave us alone. We went inside and called the police to file a report. The police took notes and photos. I even said I punched Booty Hole Husband in defense of my wife. I got nothing to hide. The police didn't do much apart from take notes, and that was it. The Jekyll and Hyde 180 they pulled on us from good neighbors to assaulting my wife really took us by surprise. In the weeks and months that followed, we got insults, glaring, and threats from Units 10 and 11, as 11 joined their friends in condemning us. Most others in the complex took our side as they either saw or heard what happened. One thing was clear: Units 10 and 11 had to go. We own our house, and we ain't up and leaving our lives because Psycho Bimbo wants to start drama with us. First, I called Body Corp. They manage the complex, kinda like a commercial HOA, but not a HOA, as not run by presidents of the complex, but a company, and filed a report about both 10 and 11, showcasing all our documented proof of harassment and threats toward us. Next, I talked to their landlord, who owned 10 and 11, and about 5 other houses in the complex, as he is a good friend. He seemed concerned, but not enough to kick them out. Guess he really wants rent payments. So I decided to get rid of them myself. First, I found their Wi-Fi network, and before I shut them out of it, I got their email address, then locked them out of their own internet connection. I had their phone number from when we were good neighbors and got myself a burner phone. I signed them up for every spam email I could find. Order takeout to be paid for on delivery every night of the week. I made sure their mailbox was stuffed with advertising. I even had men knocking on their door for promised fun, only to leave angry, and had Booty Hole Husband and Psycho Bimbo at each other's throats. I made sure their phone was ringing at all hours of the night. They even threw the phone out the window. As a final favor, I had a friend who runs a dog washing business come around pretending they booked her. When they explained they had no dogs and told her to step off, she finally understood what we've been dealing with. They kept berating her to leave, throwing in racial slurs. Bad idea. She took out the hose meant to wash the dogs and sprayed Psycho Bimbo and Booty Hole Husband and inside the house all over their carpet. I think they finally got the hint and moved out only a month later. Number 11 followed them a few weeks later. The entire complex had a huge pool party and celebration, but I wasn't gonna let them off that easy. Psycho wailed on my wife for no good reason. Prepare to lose it all. From when we were on good terms with Psycho Bimbo and Booty Hole Husband, I knew they were on temporary visas while trying to apply for permanent residency. I made sure to mention to immigration where they had moved to, thanks to friends in the rental market, and handed over the police report of them assaulting us in our own home for no good reason. Seems Psycho Bimbo didn't make her own police report, so ours was the be-all and end-all, and was enough to get them kicked out of the country. I know the country they come from. It's hard to get work. Why a lot of people from that country move here. I feel zero remorse for booting them out. Zero, zip, nada. Well, definitely seems like the parents weren't very good people, but now it seems like the kids are facing the consequences of this revenge as well as the parents, which is not a good thing in my opinion, because what did the kids do to you? Regardless, they got what was coming to them, just poor kids. This story's called Cheat on Me and I'll Ruin Your Life for Everybody You Touch. Ronnie was a serial cheater throughout high school, but he was more than that. He was manipulative. He would blow through relationships, typically 4 at a time. They would only ever last a week to a couple of months before the girls would catch him cheating. He'd proceed to leak their nudes or spill their secrets and move on to a new demographic of women. He was charismatic and scapegoated his problems onto his dying father. It didn't matter anyhow, he would destroy the victim's reputation until they weren't trusted. Anyway, despite this, I was in love. I was his side piece through it all. Morally, I knew it was wrong, but I had never been in love before. Besides, he wasn't lying to me like the other girls. He was honest about the fact he was cheating. I was special. I stuck it out. 2 years later, and he's fallen in love with me too, or so I thought. He vowed to give up cheating. He even gave up a video of the adult variety just to have me love him back. I accepted it. We planned to marry. He was always so smart about his manipulation. When friends blocked me randomly or called me abusive, I thought it was just a misunderstanding. When people began to become aware of deep personal secrets, I thought maybe I had slipped up during a conversation. No one ever told me Ronnie had called me abusive, a cheater, or a liar. I never knew he accused me of being the things he secretly was. He would insult me late at night before bed and then claim he didn't remember in the morning. He would slip sly comments into our talks, just enough to make me doubt myself, but never question him. He was a master at gaslighting until I hated myself and only wanted to please him. I was head over heels in love despite all of that. He would casually slap me, never when I was upset, but when I said things he didn't like. He would slap me across the face and I would be too shocked to speak. He followed it up by laughing and playing it off as okay to do or a joke, so I wouldn't fight back. If I expressed it was wrong or told anyone, he said I was misunderstanding a playful tap. Halfway through our relationship, I followed work to another state and maintained a long-distance relationship with him. It was my dream. I wanted so badly to stay. But after 8 months, I gave up my home, my pets, and my job to move 1,000 miles across the country to live with him again. I had literally nothing and was absolutely penniless. 3 months after this, I caught him cheating. He had asked a girl on a date via an alternate Twitter account. I was hurt, but ultimately it wasn't so bad, so I forgave him. The seed of doubt was already planted, however. 2 months later, I snooped through his phone and noticed he had several Reddit accounts saved to Chrome. I vaguely recalled he used Reddit to view video of the adult variety before, and I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I began guessing his common email password combos. I got 5 hits total. They were more than I expected. I figured maybe he was lying about not watching video of the adult variety, which is not a big deal to me, but for 6 months, he had been using these accounts to cheat on me using hookup and video of the adult variety subreddits. I confronted him. He screamed, telling me he had already apologized to me for cheating a few months ago, and I needed to quit making him sad, that he had already said sorry and I wasn't going to get anything else. He explained that he had continued to cheat because he feared I would leave and wanted a second option. I spent a week and a half sobbing. I had nothing but this man and I had never been good enough for him. I was destroyed. He screamed at me nearly every day, telling me my crying was annoying, that my depression made him uncomfortable, telling my friends I was guilt-tripping him over something that didn't happen. Finally, I snapped. I had wasted all of my high school and early adult years with a man who did nothing but walk on me. I went back to Reddit and counted every person he had flirted with or exchanged messages with. I began to voice record every conversation, screenshot every text. Next, I downloaded Tinder and Bumble. For every girl he cheated on me with, I screwed a guy behind his back. When we went out with friends, I began to act more and more sad and slowly dropped in every conversation how Ronnie had been yelling at me the night before and that it had upset me. I began to vent to his friends and show them every screenshot. Then I emailed his mother, his grandparents, and his work voice recordings of him screaming at me. I asked his boss if his company supported domestic violence. I cried to his mother and she held me as I vented my frustrations, explaining how she had been cheated on by Ronnie's father. Ronnie began to scapegoat again. He told me he was sick in the head and his depression was causing him to act like that. I knew he was attempting to gaslight me. When we were young, I was so in love with him that I saved almost every photo and text he had sent me to a OneDrive. I found all the times he had admitted to leaking nudes, cheating, and ruining girls' lives. I got in contact with each of the girls, making one big group chat and sending them every bit of evidence I could find. These were then posted all over Facebook. He had dreams of getting into politics. I joined every political group in our area and pretended to be interested in joining. I befriended the members and casually dropped into conversation how Ronnie had cheated on me and verbally abused me and ruined other people's lives. They would inquire more. I would vent and show them the mountain of evidence I had collected. Ronnie was still unaware I had done it. He spent the night screaming and crying about how no one liked him and he wasn't sure why. He had lost his job, his friends and family wouldn't speak to him, he was being publicly shamed on social media, and his political group had ousted him. I finally dropped it onto him that I had done it, and I was leaving him. During all this, I had secretly removed what little money I had from his bank account and contacted distant relatives and asked for a place to stay. I was leaving. He didn't have anything left to abuse or manipulate. I don't have a solid ending for this. I just wanted to say screw you, Ronnie. I wasted my youth being abused and I won't stand for it anymore. Well, OP, that's good that you stood up for yourself and all that jazz. And yeah, this guy was a piece of dookie and he definitely got what was coming to him, and that's a good thing. So he can't hurt more people. Then again, who knows? Politicians, man, they have some wonky past and people don't care about that, it seems. So who knows?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.